Hi, I'm Richard Vague. We normally talk about debt in these videos. We're going to take a brief detour today and talk about inflation, since inflation tends to dictate what the Fed does with interest rates, which obviously has everything to do with debt. And we just got the latest CPI and PPI numbers late last week. The CPI number in March was 0.33% higher than the previous month. That annualizes to 3.97%, which is above the Fed's target of 2%, but not a bad number. That same March number was 4.9% over the previous March, which is the number you saw in the press. That's not great, but it's not bad either. To put it in perspective, the 1980 inflation percentage peaked at 15% for the full year. That's one that scarred a generation of economists that, are still, suffering kind of PTSD from that period. The PPI number, the measure of wholesale inflation, which includes the wages involved in producing those items, was much better than the CPI number. It was 0.65% lower than the previous month and 1.2% lower than the same month of the previous year. That means it was actually deflation or negative inflation. Inflation is such an attention-grabbing topic that various analysts offer endless deconstructions in an effort to divine the underlying trends. And you'll see things like core inflation and super core inflation and the Fed's favorite underlying inflation gauge, UGI, which, by the way, was better than CPI at only 4.3%, a 0.5 percentage point improvement or decrease from the previous month. But unless you want to make analyzing inflation your life's work, we suggest a much simpler approach. Just look at a time series of the monthly numbers. If you'll do that, you'll plainly see that we've now had 9 consecutive months. That's 9 consecutive months of less concerning, even benign CPI and PPI results. For CPI, that 9-month average of monthly increases is just 0.21%, which annualizes to 2.5% inflation, only slightly above the Fed's target. It's an even better trend in PPI, where the 9-month average monthly increase in PPI is negative 0.95%, which annualizes to negative 11.4%, which is obviously strong deflation. So no need to sweat about the inflation goblin for the moment. We suspect that softening economic demand is likely to keep downward pressure on inflation. So we suggest you keep track of the monthly series, and we'll do that with you. If we get one bad number, I don't think we should panic. It would take at least a couple, probably more bad numbers in a row for us to be concerned. We still have the Ukraine war going on, which can put upward pressure on key commodity prices, including oil, natural gas, and wheat, though for the moment even those appear benign. So don't be too surprised if inflation stays fairly benign. That's it for this week. Thanks.